Hey guys, so I want to take some time to go over some of the work that we did in class, particularly with the orange sheet with those questions from that PAT. I want to go through what the rules would be, how we solve them, just to help guide you if you are having trouble. So the first one that we had was 3 to the power of 4 raised to the power of 2. Okay, so we have our product, a power rule. Okay, so what we need to do is distribute or multiply our 2 and our 4. So whenever we have our power rule, we keep our base the same and we multiply our exponents. This stays the same, so we'll have 3 to the power of 8, and then 3 to the power of 8 also gives us, if we want a value for that, gives us 6,561. Okay. The next one that we're going to look at is our quotient question. So we had 3 to the power of 12 divided by 3 to the power of 4. So our bases are the same. We keep the base the same, and we subtract our exponents. Again, it gives us 3 to the power of 8, and again, the value will be the same there. Okay. The next one was interesting because it wasn't really a rule that we talked about in class, but we're going to talk about how to solve it. So we have 3 to the power of 5 plus or adding 3 to the power of 3. Well, there's no rule for adding or subtracting, so we need to get the value, then add or subtract. In this case, add. So 3 to the power of 5 is 243. The value of 3 to the power of 3 is 27, and that will give us 270. So that's our value. Okay. Again, we can't just add things. We have to get the value because adding isn't an exponent rule. Okay. The next one that we have is 3 times 2 to the power of 6 divided by 2 to the power of 6. Well, we've got to do our bracket work, so that's going to give us 6. Then we distribute the power, and we have 6 to the power of 6 over 2 to the power of 6. Again, our bases are not the same, so we need to get a value. In this case, 6 to the power of 6 is 46,656 divided by 64, and that will give us 729. Okay, but again, we have different bases, so we have to get a value, divide those values to get our total. Okay. One of the last ones we're going to look at again is subtracting. Subtracting 3 to the power of 8, subtract 3 to the power of 4. Now again, there's no rule for subtracting, so I have to get values of these. So I know 3 to the power of 8 because we've done it a few times, 26,561. Subtract 81, because that's the value for 3 to the 4th. So we subtract that, and it gives us 6,480. Now the last example that I want to go over, and it was kind of a tricky one, but if you follow the 0 rule, you'll be fine. So it looked like this. So we had 3 to the 10 raised to a 0, raised to another 2. But this one's kind of a tricky question because we know any base or anything raised to the power of 0 will equal 1. So with a question like this, they really want to know, do you understand that if you see a 0 in any part of a question or an expression, it will always, 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 always equal 1. So there's some of the questions that we did on that orange sheet. Okay, some of them follow the rules. We have the power rule, we have the quotient rule, Here we just have to get a value. Here we have a little bit of the power rule, and then we have to get the values. Here again we're subtracting, so we need the values. And then here, great example of the 0 rule. Anything raised to the power of 0 at any point always equals 1.